Hey everybody, happy Saturday. I won't be at all surprised if my phone goes a-sliding. I hope it don't, but I just propped it up there real quick. I had to get out of the house for a while today. Yesterday it was so bitter cold. It was just like, I don't think it ever got above like 20 maybe. And last night was so bitter. And tonight, I think it's not supposed to be as cold, but still, I've never been diagnosed with any kind of crippling arthritis or anything, but the older I get, the more I feel it. And I didn't really have anything in mind to talk about when I turned my phone on. I just hadn't made a video in a few days, and I could sit here and I could give my opinions and analyze the behavior of CMC, but I wouldn't really be telling you all anything that you don't already know. What I will say about it is, I am shocked. I'm not shocked by her, what she does or doesn't do, the things that she says she's going to do. I'm shocked by the people that actually still believe that she's going to. Now, she has flying monkeys. She has her die-hard supporters who are going to defend her no matter what. No matter how abusive her behavior becomes, no matter how much she lies to them, no matter what she does or tells them she's going to do and then doesn't come through, they're going to continue to defend her and support her. They're the ones in the comments telling other people how bad we are, the haters, So, I'm not shocked by their behavior. There are some that I am shocked by, but if they're on there giving her their money and they've already seen her big paid events in the past, there's this old saying, I've probably quoted this before, but I'll quote it again. The best indication of future behavior is past behavior. And commented on that if you can forgive people, you should forgive people. There are some things that are harder to forgive. There's a song out there somewhere. I couldn't tell you right now who sings it to save my life, but there's a line in it in the song that says, there's bound to be some ghosts in the back of our closets. There's going to be things that are harder to forgive. I don't know the song word for word, but it's just basically talking about we all have stuff in our past that we're not proud of, that we would like to be forgiven for. And there's going to be things that we're going to find more difficult to forgive others for. But we should for our own health and our own ability to heal. I like to think, even though I know I talk about it a lot, I like to think that I have forgiven my ex for his behavior. I don't approve of it, of course, in a relationship once someone has cheated. Well, my answer to that is, just like I said, if you don't forgive them, see, I'm going to share something. I know I'm going back and forth. I'm on a teeter-totter, one of them pendulums back and forth. When everything ended between me and him, and I found out that he had gone back to the other woman, the woman that he was with before me, I won't call her the other woman. I guess if you look at it the way that most people would look at it, I guess I was considered the other woman. And he went back, told me he had to do what was best for his kids and blah, blah, blah. But basically it was just because of money, because she was getting ready to hit him hard, for spousal or child support, not spousal support, but child support and property and things like that. So he basically went back to self-preserve, and that saved me. It really did. Him doing that, her putting the screws to him like she did and saying, You know, you're not just going to throw me and my kids out and start a whole new life and leave us with struggling. We're going to get what's coming to us. And I don't blame her one bit for that. But that was his, if that happened, that was his story. And I believe that that did happen. And I don't blame her at all for that. I would have done the same thing. But not long after, and I had moved on with my life, tried to put everything in my own life back together, had finally started healing physically as well, because I went through a period of weeks and weeks after discard where I was just deathly sick. My immune system was non-existent, you know. I was losing weight, and that was a good thing, but not for the right reasons. I was just basically starving myself, where other people might turn to food in times like that. I turned away from it. I didn't have any appetite. I just wanted to punish myself, and didn't understand that it was narcissism. But not long after, maybe a couple of months had passed, I'm trying to get on with my life. I'm finally starting to be able to go through the day without just, you know, melting down. And one of my friends, so-called friends, who is no longer, and there's an entire series on my YouTube channel called The Flying Monkey Friend, for narcissist female, the Flying Monkey Friend. It's like a 3 or 4 part about that particular person. So she comes to my inbox, and we were at that time friendly enough that we did kind of talk a couple of times a week. We shared each other's posts and things on social media. We knew each other. We lived in the same town, and we knew each other, you know. So she comes to my inbox, and she's like, I really, really need to talk to you. It's really important. And I'm like, well, what's it about? She said, well, can you give me a call? She said, I don't want to... she said, when you get alone and by yourself to where you can talk, give me a call. So I'm like, okay, you know, what the heck? So she starts telling me that this other woman had been talking to her about me and trying to find stuff out about me. And she told her, this is what she told me that she said. This is, he said, she said, she said, she said, seashores by the seashore, or whatever, you know. But she said that she told her, well, I really don't know nothing about it. She told her, and that we had gotten involved with each other and so on. She told her, she said, I really don't know any more about it than that. She said, I don't know what happened. She said, I just, you know, she didn't really tell me anything. And next thing I know, she just wasn't with him at all. So apparently, according to the Flying Monkey, that I will now call her, says, the other woman says to her, well, she's going to get what's coming to her. She caused all these problems, which, by the way, I did not. I had no clue that the two of them were still together when we started to talk. I was led to believe that she was out of the house and that they were no longer together for weeks, maybe months, before he even messaged me the first time. So I wasn't going to allow that to stand and just take the blame for it all, you know. But I knew that if I fed information to my friend and she went back to her, it was just going to turn into this drama, this back and forth drama between me and her. And of course he was with her, so he was going to defend himself, and he was going to take her opinion against me. And I said, you know what? I don't want anything to do with any of that. So she says, my Flying Monkey friend says that the other woman tells her, well, I am going to never let him live it down, and I'm going to spend my life making him miserable. Now, I question this. Why did she go back to him? Did she go back to him just for that purpose? So that told me right there that he was the one that went crawling back. That told me that he went crawling back begging her, you know, to work it out. And then she decided she's going to hold it over his head. So that told me that there was no love between them. It told me, well, I knew there was no love between him and anybody because he's a friggin' narcissist, you know. But that's what that told me, that there was just no love there. And why be with somebody and continue to, like, shush it up, guys. Why continue to hold something like that over their head? So if you can't forgive the person, then don't go back into it. Don't just you know, don't make yourself miserable just to make them miserable. Because there may be somebody out there that will love you and will want to be with you and will want to have a life with you, and you're just, you know, throwing fuel on the fire of a dead relationship just to cause somebody else problems. But if you do forgive them in your heart and you love them and you want to try again, then that's on you. That's your decision to make. But I will say this, regardless of whether you go back or you don't go back, you have to forgive yourself and you have to forgive them. You have to forgive yourself for not knowing better, you know. Because when you are the victim of a narcissist and you say, I forgive myself, people assume that you are blaming yourself because the narcissist blamed you the entire time, you know. So, anyway, I'm pulling off here at this store. But, like I was saying earlier, my original thought that I was talking about, how can anybody be shocked by her, you know? When my ex, after all that time had passed and I'd moved on with my life, he shows up, he starts texting me. I'm asking him about all that. I'm asking him about him and the other woman being back together and why he's messaging me. And I asked him if he knew about that, about her contacting me through a third party, and he acts like he didn't know anything about it. And he starts telling me, I didn't want things to end between me and you. It was you all along, blah, blah, blah. I only went back because of my kids and, one kid in particular who was still underage and living at home. And he always used that child to make me feel guilty. Anytime that I would want to spend time with him or try to work on our relationship, he would always use the child and make me feel like, well, if I try to spend time with him, then, I'm home wrecking or whatever, But back to CMC, I know I got on this whole other spin around, but people who watch her regularly, even her staunch supporters and diehard supporters, they have to kind of question themselves and say, she told us she was going to do makeup, but she didn't. And that kind of reminds me of the time she said she was going to do this big fireworks show. And she shot off a couple of bottle rockets or firecrackers in the road and then left. And everybody had paid for that. I'm not shocked that she does those things, and I'm not shocked that they let her get away with it. But I am somewhat shocked that some of them continue to go along with it and give her money for something that they know she's not going to give them. And I don't know. It's like, kind of like, you sit, I don't know. I watched this movie the other night on Prime called The Tender Bar. And it's a good little movie. It's based on a true story about a little boy, and the little boy has never really known his real dad. And his real dad's this, like, radio personality who the boys only ever heard about him, and he's on the radio, and he does like the weather or sports or something. But he's a drunk, and he's a bum, you know. And the little boy is like always believing, and the dad will call and say, I'll be there to pick you up, and we're going to go to the ball game. And the uncle who's helping to raise him is just like, you know, he knows the child's going to end up getting his feelings hurt because the dad's not going to show up. But he has to let the little boy find that out. As much as he knows it's going to hurt him, he has to just sit back and watch it because the little boy has to learn. And it takes the little boy a long time. He's a man before he finally, you know, gets it. And hopefully it doesn't take some people that long. But like I said, he would start texting me, and at that time, I didn't know about narcissism. And I would answer his text, and I'd be like, yeah, what's up, you know, and I'd talk to him, and then he would start some kind of lies and make up some big long story of lies about stuff, and I would get my stomach turned, and I would just like kind of pull away and not talk to him, and then he would go away, and then he would come back, and each time that he came back, and each time that I answered his texts, he would become more and more kind of cruel toward me. He would become more and more kind of condescending and testing the waters to see what I would take and what I would put up with, and the same pattern repeated itself for a long time. And then finally one day, I know I've told this story before, but for anybody who's new, maybe hasn't had the time to go through all my long playlist. One day, he came to where I was at. I was out at the park, and he showed up, and I walked over to his truck, and I sat, and I talked to him for a while, and he started triangulating me using one of my best friends, using someone. He'd already hinted around about a couple of my friends and women that I knew were hitting on him, and that maybe he was kind of leaning toward maybe something might have happened, and just pushing me to see what I would say. But that day in particular, it turned me off to the point that I was pissed, like seriously pissed, because the person that he was talking about, I knew better. And I know some people will say, well, you never know, but yes, I do know. I know this person, and there was no way, shape, or form that she would have had anything to do with him, especially knowing what he did to me. And because she was probably one of the few people that I did confide in and knew the whole story about it. And I sat there and I said, well, you know what? If she's hitting on you and she's trying to hook up with you, her husband should know about that, because he's a good man and he doesn't deserve to be treated that way. So I was calling his bluff, but I really wasn't. I was like, seriously, well, you know, let's tell him, because he needs to know. And he's like, no, and he starts backtracking, and he's like, you're just trying to cause trouble, you're just wanting to get a fight started, because he knew it wasn't true. He knew that had never happened. He wanted to test me to see if I would, you know, cry or whatever it was he was trying to get out of me. And I called his bluff, and as I'm sitting there, he used to start that fake laugh. Now, for those of you who are here from the CMC pages, you've heard me talk about her fake phony life, and that's part of narcissism. When she gets something on somebody, she acts like she's got somebody on somebody. She says, you fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. Bleh. Sticks that tongue out, you know, like a 3-year-old. That's how he kind of behaved that day, and I'd heard that life before, that smarmy, like, you know, I got you. I was just seeing what you'd say and stuff. When I left there that day, I knew I don't want anything else to do with this man, because I knew all the stuff he had lied to me about, but that was the final straw. And I knew I don't have any intentions of ever speaking to him again. And somebody's like walking right up to my vehicle here. Oh, what the heck's going on? Oh, he was in that car right over there, and he got out, and now he's over here talking to this woman. I don't know who these people are. I guess he's been sitting there watching me talk to myself. But anyway, I knew I wasn't going to ever talk to him again or have anything to do with him again as far as, like, intentionally, you know. And I did speak to him a few more times after that. He did text me. He did, you know, reach out to me. And I started pushing him away. And I stopped letting him pull my strings. But that day I went home, and I don't know if it was that day or the next, but it was over the next little while. I just kept thinking about that, and I kept thinking about that laughter. And I thought about all the times that I had been around him throughout my time with him when he would laugh that way, and it would turn me off. It would make me feel like, ugh, I can't stand to hear him laugh like that, like a clown or something, you know. But I looked it up, and I'm sitting there on my laptop, and I just typed in people with a fake laugh, and it was like, ah, like, ding, 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 you hit the jackpot. Narcissism, everything I was reading, narcissism. And I fell into this rabbit hole for weeks and weeks where I just sat there reading and absorbing and going on to YouTube and watching videos. And I started following different channels. And it was just like, okay, I get it. Everything I was reading on other people's comments on other people's videos, it was like, they're telling my story. That's exactly what happened to me. And that was how it all came to be. And the reason I got started talking about CMC was because when I started to watch her in the awareness pages and stuff, I didn't know what she was about. I didn't know who this woman was, but it only took a few viewings for me to figure her out. And I don't know how long it took all of you to figure her out. Some people gave her money and fell into her trap and got taken and ended up, you know, learning the truth about her that way, the hard way. And others were like me, just watched her a few times and was like, she's so disgusting and horrible. But there's still some out there that haven't figured it out yet. And there's some that have, and like the flying monkey, like the woman that I spoke about before, his woman, they knew the truth about him, or they knew the truth about CMC, and they chose to stay. Some of those people that are on her page commenting are there to make fun of her and laugh, joke about her, and get their digs in at her, and make her feel like she's important, so she'll keep on doing the things that she does. And others are there really trying to support her. And it's just like with any narcissist, you have people who will go back. Now, to wrap that story up, for those of you who are new to my story, he had been reaching out to me the last time that he reached out to me. I told him I really don't want to talk to you anymore. I don't really have anything to say. I'm back together with the man I was with, and we're trying to put our life back together, and I really don't have any need or reason to answer you anymore. And he's okay, and he left me alone. And about time that he's contacting me, he's telling me about all these other women that have come and gone since me and him broke up, and that's triangulation. That's trying to make the supply jealous so that they will dig in deeper. His reasons for doing that was to tell me about other women to try to make me work harder to get him back for myself. And I didn't. And but 6 weeks later, and social media, and he married this new woman within days. And lo and behold, they're already divorced. She's already learned the truth about him. Took her a while. Took her a couple of tries. Left and come back. But she finally figured him out. Well, maybe she hasn't. I don't know. They're not together, but you know, that doesn't mean he's not still in the background like he was with me and like he is with probably this other woman too. But that's what CMC does. People say they're shocked when they see AP and some of these others back over there on her page. Well, why? But why? Don't be shocked by it. They're glutton for punishment. She gave them something that they wanted. She gave them some attention, even if it was negative, even if she took from them. And the only reason that she would even give them any attention was because they were giving her money. But they want that. They want that. They haven't learned their lesson yet. Maybe they have, and maybe they just decide it's better than nothing, you know. It's like this other woman took him back after what he did to her with me, and I found out later on down the line that I wasn't even the first one, that he had done that several times, you know. But she kept taking him back, and I thought at the time, before I learned about narcissism, I thought she loves him, and she's just going to try to work on that relationship for their kids. And then I found out what she was saying to my friend about me and him and how she was trying to make him miserable and what never going to let him live it down. Well, he lived it down. He took off. She kept pushing him, and the narcissist, when they're pushed, they will, lash out. He was not a violent person. He was not an angry type of person. We didn't have like blow up fights and screaming matches. I don't know about him and her. But when he would get mad, he would just say, "No, I told you, and I'm done talking about it." And he wouldn't, and there was no reason to keep on talking to him about a thing if he said that he was done, you know. And that's the way CMC is. People come on there and they try to bring awareness, and they go in, like I did last night, and many of you did last night, go in on her open page and make comments, and she just blocks everybody. Because she doesn't want anybody to know the truth about her. She's over there telling them, this one's mad, this one's saying that about me because I wouldn't give them money. They wanted me to promote their page or whatever, And that's just the way it is, and it will continue to be a pattern over and over and over again. That's why she's wanting newbies. That's why she's lost so many supporters, and she's trying to get new ones so she can feed them the same BS that she's been feeding everybody else for the last 6 or 7 years. And the ex-narc of mine, he's out there somewhere in the world feeding some new woman the same BS. And any of you that are here for narcissism, that have been following my page for that reason, you probably dealt with one yourself. And you know what I'm talking about. And I know I've talked too long. I didn't mean for this video to go this long. But I'm not shocked by CMC's behavior, and I'm not really even shocked that there are still people supporting her and giving her money and stuff for because they want to believe in her. Maybe they don't have anything else going on in their own life, And some people, it's just like, well, it's better than nothing. At least I'm included. At least I can comment. At least I can be a part of it. It's better than being tossed aside. And that's what some people think about their partners, or their friends. And I'm tired of talking, and I know y'all are tired of listening. So thanks for listening. Sorry I went on too long, but I'm going to run in here in the store and get a few things. My husband probably thinks I've skipped town. I wish I had somewhere to go and some money. I probably would. Thanks for listening, everybody.